his guitar song is out of tune just like me. Oh, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Seasons of Music. In this show, we'll be meeting with Stefan Roach, classical guitarist and performer. We'll be discussing with him his career and what his future will be. Welcome to Seasons of Music. My name is Christopher Aird. Hi everyone, welcome once again to Seasons of Music. As I said before, joining me on set is Stefan Roach, classical guitarist, performer. And this week, we'll be talking to him about what he's been doing recently and how he sees his future. So Stefan, first let me congratulate you on what I've heard was a very successful concert.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Right, great. So tell me how was it? How was the concert itself?
Well, I'm very happy with the quality of the concert, the experience, the feedback from people who attended.
Yeah.
I mean, the concert in itself is a whole creative experience, work of passion for me. Even more than just playing the guitar. I love molding a concert together. And
so how is this your first concert or you've had other concerts before?
I've been doing concerts, professional concerts, I would say, since 2014.
But on your own, or this is?
Yeah.
Okay.
On my own. And over the years, well, I've done smaller stuff even before 2014 with just students.
Right.
But from 2014, I would say throwing concerts at professional venues like Queen's Hall. And I've experimented with different concepts over the years.
Right.
But this specific concept, the art of guitar, this recipe.
Right.
The first one was 2018, and I think I've really found what works. I love this style, this concept.
Okay, so tell me, where did it all begin? Was it you just woke up one day and old aunt gave you a guitar or your father sent you for lessons
Well, I was digging in the backyard and I uncovered this guitar.
The Holy Grail.
No, it's one of those things as a teenager.
Right.
Thinking of playing guitar.
Right. But your father played guitar because,
well,
a little bit?
My dad fiddled with things. We had a whole quattro home that I would take a thing. My dad was more into calypso. So as far as the foundation on being exposed to music, it was really more kaiso, old-time calypso, and that I grew up with in this house. And in primary school, I actually performed in calypso competitions and in Fatima as well.
Right. Uh-huh.
And my cousin had a guitar, and going by them and playing and so on, he was playing his Redemption song.
Right. Yes.
And that's where I started to get a little interest and learning stuff from him, some little rock. And then eventually I started formal lessons, and I think that is really what brought me to where I am, is finding the right teacher. And that teacher was Graham Newling, who really molded me in the classical style in what I'm trained in.
Yeah. Okay. So was it something like, okay, I'm playing normal guitar and then I decide I'm going into classical? How is it different that, you could see, I want to do that versus just a normal guitarist?
It's not so much that I want to do that. It's more the formality of learning music. So because I went through this classical style of teacher, he molded me in this direction. And so parallel to studying with him, which was purely classical techniques, studying music, how to read music, that was lessons with him. But parallel to that, I was playing in church. I played in P.T. Valley, St. Anthony's Church, and I played with Karen Boca Sunday, and that guy had a real rough strum, and I think like trying to keep up with him helped me with rhythm. And then of course, so I started when I was 13, so I was a teenager already in Fatima. Going through Fatima, experimenting with rock. Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz. That's the first rock song I learned. And, so I was playing my rock, playing my church music, doing a little reggae in school, calypso. But all the while studying my classical with Graham,
Right.
and building, growing. And I think it was more because I just had a discipline inside of me to stick with something.
Right.
I became better and I started doing the exams. And I would say the turning point was probably maybe almost a decade into studying,
Oh, okay.
where I took part in music festival and I won.
Right. So this concert was sort of to highlight your students, or was it to highlight yourself? Or they were part just guest performers in it?
Well, this concert started 2018. This
Series,
recipe,
yeah.
and my idea of it is it's really the art of guitar. So it's all about the instrument, and what I try to do is celebrate the instrument by doing diverse collaborations. So in the concert we did our classical, but we did a lot of flamenco, we did some Latin, we did calypso,
Right.
we did our take on soca, we did bossa nova, we did rock. So it's really the diversity of the instrument
Right.
in these different genres,
Right.
and it's also the collaboration of the instrument with other instruments. Because we had every year when I do it, I try to bring in something different.
Right.
This year, instrumentally, what I brought in was the double bass, cello, and violin. So we had a nice string section alongside a tabla.
Right.
And I have my usual backup musicians, bass, cajon, percussions,
Right.
rhythm guitar. And and I always feature singers, but I always change it up, you know, just
Yeah.
to present something
Yeah,
different.
right.
This year, a new aspect of the vocal side was opera, you know.
Okay,
I brought in, I worked with Stephanie now, who's this year,
right.
and she brought,
So you played along with her, or was it
Yeah.
like, oh, nice.
yeah, I played along. You know, everything is, the guitar is part of the accompaniment.
Right, it wasn't tracks or
No, no, no.
piano.
no.
Yeah, it was mainly
Everything is
strings.
live.
Okay.
And we did habanera,
Okay.
and we did Italian piece,
And was
O
it
mio Babino.
having to switch to opera? Was it was it difficult for you, or was it, you know?
Well, the habanera had has a tango feel to it, so that
Right.
was very comfortable for me. But the O mio Babino,
Yeah.
that one was a little outside my comfort zone, where I had to work a lot with her to kind of get accustomed to the
Right.
style.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But you know, I always think of classical guitar as flamenco, tango, it was kind of Spanish type things. Is that true? Is it that's where
Well-
classical guitaring came from, or?
Well, classical guitar, I think, the title classical guitar, I think it just more emerged from where guitar started. You know, playing what we call classical music, which is really just this body of music that developed out of the Baroque, Romantic, classical eras
Right.
coming forward, right? But I think nowadays when you speak of classical guitar, we don't necessarily speak specifically about that body of music, which is Bach or whoever,
Right.
but more, I see it more as a style of playing, which is fingerstyle,
Right.
you know, that kind of thing.
It's like picking. That's what they.
Yeah, I
is
would
it-
say fingerstyle as opposed to pick.
Right.
So, you know, that you might look on and say, well, that guy is using classical techniques.
Right. Okay.
So, you know,
Versus a strum.
versus just, you know, strumming.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say it's a style of playing, but it can also be considered playing a style of music
Right.
which emerged out of this body of music from
Right.
way in the past.
So when your students come to you, they come in to learn classical guitar or just to learn to play the guitar?
Well,
Does it start off like that and then, as just like it happened with you?
well, I had to adapt over the years
Mm-hmm.
because if I try to go too rigid with trying to teach students classical music, then I would have no students.
Right.
You know, so most of the time when students come to learn guitar is because they hear something on the radio
Yeah, yeah.
or YouTube and they want to do that. So I had to adapt. But every single student that comes to me, they gain a foundation in classical study techniques and in basic reading music. So they learn
Okay.
to read music. So they learn the basic and they learn the basic techniques.
Yeah.
And then what I do beyond that is try to mix this line of classical guitar, the techniques and so on, alongside popular music. So, so you might be doing, let's say, a modern song, Calm Down.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you could do that with a pick.
Yeah.
I'm using my fingers like
Yeah,
a pick.
yeah, yeah.
But what I would do is show them how to use a combination of thumb and fingers with it. So they apply learning a song like that
Yeah.
with their thumb and fingers. Or, Hotel California, they will learn that finger
Right.
style.
Yeah, yeah. God, I've always wanted to learn the guitar. Which is, especially because I'm a singer,
Right.
I've always wanted to be able to be able to play and sing, but it just never happened. I just got so caught up with everything else,
Yeah.
So, but I was reading from your bio that you are actually a chemical engineer. How?
Apparently.
Where does that the two? Is it that you pursuing that? Because I know in Trinidad, your parents always tell you, yes, you could do music, yes, you could do acting, but get your degree first. Was it like that? And did you do engineering as a career and then decide to go strictly into classical guitar? Or
Well, I would say the chemical engineering side came first because even though I was playing guitar and studying guitar out of secondary school, it was never a case of, well, this is what I want to do
Yeah, yeah.
professionally. That thought
it
never
didn't ever
crossed my
no.
mind. No,
Wow.
I mean, how do you
Yeah,
make a living?
exactly.
Make a living from,
Yeah, yeah.
and in secondary, I used to do good in my academic subjects, math and sciences. So the natural trend of thought was you're going to do something in the energy industry because,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
Trinidad.
Yeah.
So you start looking at which engineering. It's not even a case of what you're going to do. It's,
Yeah.
well, math and sciences, engineering.
Yes,
Which one?
yeah, yeah.
And after investigating the different ones, I just decided chemical engineering. I didn't really know much about it. And so I just went through the motions of studying chemical engineering, studying for that. But the guitar.
But that's a big deal. Being an engineer is a big deal. So you see, I just went through that,
Well, it was harder.
Yeah.
'Cause all throughout university, I was still playing my guitar.
Right. Okay.
And actually, it's during university that the guitar started to step up a little more because I started to teach students to earn some side income.
Okay.
Because, you're in university trying to,
Yeah.
buy lunch or whatever it may be.
Or
So
students within the university
I
itself.
actually had a few students
okay.
at UE who would come to me
Yeah.
during the day and take classes. And then when I come back home on weekends, I had some students here as well.
Right.
Right
Okay.
in this space. It didn't look like this back
Right.
then.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
And so maybe 2 years, my second year of university, I was still studying my classical guitar formally. And that's when I took part in music festival.
Oh. Okay.
I won it and realized,
This is.
I'm good at this,
Yeah.
this. I'm looking for my parent group. It's time to practice. This is Agua Viva. Agua Viva? Where's Agua Viva? Arriba, arriba.
But you were working before in a energy company,
Well,
when you came out of university?
well, I did a little. I worked. The only two companies that I had experience in, one was a little short experience with NGC, and the other one was Ministry of Energy.
Right.
Straight out of university into the Ministry of Energy, and I had a good experience actually at the ministry, where I got onto this big investment from a Japanese conglomerate, Mitsubishi, and they were doing this $1 billion investment alongside Massey. And,
Right.
so I was lucky because I attached to Frank Lukin. He was the advisor to the minister, and
Right.
it's just luck fell in my lap.
Yeah,
I had
yeah,
a great
yeah.
experience doing that. But you know, as the project fizzle out, and you know, you start kind of getting a little idle, and then but alongside that, I started to get calls for performances in guitar,
Oh, okay.
and that's when the tension started
Yes,
to
yeah.
build.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, when did it start?
Yep,
You
it
know?
started while I was working.
Right.
I started to get calls for performances, and how the flamenco emerged more to the fore with me is because I dabbled with it as a classical guitarist, because flamenco is a style of classical
Yeah.
guitar that uses finger style, and someone wanted flamenco guitar for their wedding, and they called around the place, and somehow this one recommend
into-
that one,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that one recommend that one, and then it ended up by me,
Yeah.
and they needed me for 1 hour of flamenco
Flamenco.
playing.
Wow.
But I had maybe 6 months
To
prepare.
prepare.
And my guitar teacher, Graham, he actually has a background in flamenco guitar as well, because he's a graduate of one of the royal schools in the UK, but he did flamenco in Spain. He did a workshop with Paco Peña,
Right.
and he did some traditional flamenco styles. So I started to get help from him, guidance from him on how to build the techniques, and I started learning some songs, whatever scores I could find. I bought some books, and
wow.
you know, I just, within those 6 months, I think it was about 6 months, I was just practicing my repertoire, just building,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
song at a time, because it's not easy to learn a full song.
Yeah, right.
Full piece. He'll buff him up if he hear me calling it a song.
But did you, were you trained otherwise other than Graham, or in terms of playing
No, as
guitar
far
and music, or
as-
learning music?
No, as far as formal training, purely Graham, but I did music exams, and one aspect of the exams is oral training, which is hearing, a hearing test, which involves some singing. I was in Fatima Choir,
Oh, okay.
so you know Maurice Brash,
Yeah, yeah,
Mr. Brash, I
right.
worked under him a bit. But in preparing for music exams, the higher grades, I started going to a vocal coach to help me develop my hearing,
Right.
and you know, singing back phrases, singing from scores.
Right.
Just you know, overall building of that understanding of music. So other than guitar training with Graham, that's the only other formal
Yeah.
training.
Okay.
And well, later, 2018. Well, I've been to Spain 3 times since,
Oh, okay.
and 2018.
Part of your training, or just you went on vacation and this was something you decided to?
Well, 2011, I went with Living Water Community on a pilgrimage, World Youth Day.
Right.
2016, I think, I went with some friends from work. We went on a whole Euro trip, and Spain was one of
right.
the stops. But
So you walked with the guitar?
yes, actually.
You
And,
did?
yeah, and I would go to flamenco shows, or I would go to concerts in Rome, you know, wherever. And in Venice, I went to hear music by Vivaldi, live music. So anytime I travel, seeing live music was important.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like research for me, because
Yeah.
you know, I'll watch this style of of concerts and kind of try to understand their perspective on putting on a show.
Right.
But 2018 when I went, that was purely, I wanted to go southern Spain and stay there, sit down there for 5 weeks at least to really absorb
Yeah.
what
I take it.
what
Yeah.
it is there. And I did a workshop there with a flamenco guitarist, which helped me to better internalize the rhythms and understanding.
Right. Because you were part of Living Waters.
Yeah.
I don't know, a youth band at one time.
Yes,
in the
we
early.
founded a youth band, Father Ragbeer and I.
Yeah.
And that's actually where I met my wife
Right.
in the youth band,
Oh,
Olivia.
okay. Yeah.
And I'm still very close with Living Water,
Yeah.
but I don't think the youth band is around as much. Well, of course, we went through this whole transition during COVID
and
and all of that.
So Olivia's involved because I think I witnessed a performance with you. It was an art gallery and she sang. So how did you decide to bring in that?
Well, Olivia she was in youth band as a singer.
Mm-hmm.
And she came from a musical family. I can't say I came from a musical family, other than my dad, playing kaiso in the house and knocking the table and the car window. Outside of that, her family is really a musical family. And she has a great ear for music.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a very soothing tenor, cello kind of voice.
Yeah.
And but she prefers to be in the background.
Right.
So but I know her talents, and I just kind of encouraged her.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
Okay.
let's try a little thing, and now and then she 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 came out, step out of her comfort zone, and it was a hit.
Yeah.
People loved hearing her sing bossa nova,
Right.
that kind of smooth jazzy style with me.
Mm-hmm.
But she hasn't performed in a while because we have a newborn baby now.
Oh,
So,
congratulations. For those who do not know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different
Yeah.
lifestyle to be able to deal
But
with. So you could see, so right now it's mainly classical guitar teaching young people. The thought of going back into the engineering as a career is behind you right now,
yeah,
right?
not core engineering. I like to think that a lot of my success in, let's say, throwing shows or managing any kind of business that I do is I would like to attribute a lot of that success to engineering, because
Right.
engineering, it trains you to be logical in your thinking and
Yeah.
problem solve
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and management is parts of it. So,
Yeah.
I think I got that benefit from it. But I think I'm gifted in teaching, and so I actually teach at a school called Trimont as well. I teach music there,
Okay.
and after a couple of years, because I'm qualified in engineering, I started to get into the math,
Wow.
and so now I actually teach Cambridge math as well, and I actually really enjoy it. I really
Yeah.
enjoy
Well, your calling
teaching
must be,
math.
yeah, dealing with young people, the
Yeah,
young minds. That's great.
my dad is a retired teacher,
Oh,
so
yeah, that's true. That's true. So it's kind of
teaching
in your
runs in the
blood.
family. My sister is a teacher.
Oh, she is, right?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so.
So, tell us something else about yourself that nobody knows. Is there anything?
Well, if anybody follows me on social media, they would probably learn a lot about me that they probably wouldn't expect. For example, I love gardening.
Oh, okay.
I love, I jokingly call it gardening.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a little kitchen garden, so I love being in the garden and,
Okay.
planting
Right. I'm not a green thumb
food
at all.
crops.
Everything guys with me.
I also love just liming. I love just talking stupidness with
Yeah.
my friends and joking around.
So you're on a lime. You walk with the guitar and then pick up and say, let's play some old
Nah.
time calypso. Or you.
Nah, if I bounce in a line with my friends with my guitar, they would take it from me and hide it in the back. They say, nah, not today, not
Not
today. We
today.
didn't want to hear it today.
I know friends are like that. They love you, but then it's just all of a sudden, there's a separation. Well, okay, great. Well, Stefan, thanks a lot for joining us on this
Sure, my
episode of
pleasure.
Season Music. When we were thinking of who to interview, I said, hey, Stefan is a good person. Not only, your performance and your career, but you were also part of the Living Water community. So it's
Yeah.
good when others see, where people have evolved and where they're going. So, so folks, there you have it. Thank you once again for joining us on Seasons of Music. Stefan, thanks again. And maybe
My
you could
pleasure.
kind of end us with some,
Yeah.
a little classical song.
All right, I'll see if I can play something.
Don't charge us, eh?
I'll send my invoice.
So thank you, Stefan, for joining us, and it's just really a pleasure, leading us out with this great music. So join us another time when we present another musician, singer. So thank you for joining us. Bye.